defecating. I certainly, using the word crap, I shouldn't use that, I know crap.
What do Tom Clark, Justin Trudeau, a bathtub, and an election all have in common? Somehow, all those things were discussed during question period today, immediately prior to the confidence vote.
Let's take a look.
After 9 years of the NDP Liberals, taxes up, costs up, crimes up, time's up. Today, we'll vote to trigger a carbon tax election between the costly carbon tax coalition of NDP Liberals who tax your food, punish your work, double your housing cost, and unleash crime and chaos, or common sense Conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Why can't we bring it home today?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, again, with the clever little performance of slogans he's memorized without any actual solutions for Canadians. He doesn't care about Canadians. He cares about his own political self-interest. If he cared about Canadians, he wouldn't have voted against dental care. He wouldn't have voted against more spaces at $10 a day childcare. He wouldn't have voted against initiatives that are growing the economy, putting more money in people's pockets. He wants a climate change election. Let's have that election in the right time where we're putting more money in the pockets of Canadians. This is not the time for that. We're going to continue to deliver for Canadians.
Let's have that election, at the right time.
What an idiot.
That was the dumbest thing he could have said. It's the right time right now for Canadians, let me tell you, because we can't survive another 6 months to a year under your awful, awful governance, Trudeau.
And remember, this is the guy that thinks he's Rocky Balboa and who's going to take down big bad Pierre Poilievre. Yeah. This is the guy.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, he just said he wants a carbon tax election on his plan to quadruple the tax to 61 cents a litre. If so, will he call it today?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I believe this on today, we will see that this House does not have confidence in the leader of the Conservative Party. Mr. Speaker, we have delivered, are continuing to deliver, reduced emissions, more money in the pockets of Canadians, and success in the fight against climate change as we create jobs and build a stronger future. We are focused on delivering for Canadians the things that actually matter, while he's focused on slogans and clapping. Mr. Speaker, we're going to focus on being there for Canadians.
That was dumb. It really was.
He tries to be witty, but the problem is he doesn't think. He just says the first word that comes into his head. Like he's like, well, they're focused on your slogans and clapping.
How can you be witty if you have no wits?
It's so sad. But you know what? This is why we want Trudeau to run against Pierre in the next election. We want to see him debate Pierre on live TV.
Well, and I think this is why Trudeau is so hell-bent on not resigning as party leader, because it's personal now between him and Poilievre.
It is. And
it's going to be to the Liberal Party's detriment that he stays on. I mean, it's to our gain. Canadians everywhere are starting to, open their eyes and start listening to what's going on from the Conservatives' point of view. And I think a lot of Canadians are going, yeah, there's definitely an air of truth to that. When Trudeau says things like, we're putting more money in the pockets for 8 out of 10 Canadians, most Canadians are sitting here going, I was worse off, under your governance than I was under Harper. I'm definitely worse off now than I was even a year or two ago. Like, how is that putting more money in my pocket? Many Canadians are getting to the end of the paycheck and there's not enough money left to see them through. Like, this is the reality that Trudeau and the Liberals have created.
Well, and here's the thing. Many people just think that Pierre is kind of trying to make Trudeau look the fool just for fun. It is not just for fun. I'm sure he has fun doing it, but it would not be just for fun. Pierre and his team know full well the type of person that Justin Trudeau is, and the more that they make him look the fool, the more they twist that knife a little bit more, the more that Justin Trudeau is resigned to the fact that he must stay and he must beat the alleged bully Pierre Poilievre.
He's got to beat Apollo Creed.
Right. So, so it is all strategic at this point. So, kudos to Pierre and the team for employing this. And if you notice, Pierre's tactics have shifted just a little bit. He's not as vulgar. He's not as crass as he was before. But he's making him the fool in very clever new ways that are more parliamentary.
Yeah, it's definitely more refined than it was even in the spring.
And that's because of some of the feedback that people were giving is that, well, he's not really talking like a prime minister. So he's polished up some of that language and polished up the approach. So it still has the same effect, but he looks a little bit more prime ministerial in this regard. So very interesting to see the change in tactics.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he's concerned that we're clapping for him. He agreed to a carbon tax election on his quadrupling of the tax to 61 cents a litre, where Canadians will choose between an NDP Liberal government that has taxed their food, punished their work, doubled their housing costs, and unleashed crime and chaos in their communities, or a common-sense Conservative government to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. He's bragging that he has more politicians on his side. Isn't it really the case that in Canada, the people decide?
Pierre's right. The people are on the side of the Conservatives. I mean, to have, what was the latest poll? 43% of poll respondents saying that they want to vote Conservative. That's huge. Like 30 in polling is considered a really good number. 43 is astronomical.
Well, and they've been over 40 for over
while.
A year now.
I remember talking to our MP. It was August. It was the end of August last year, 2023, and saying, "Hey, congratulations! I saw you guys are at 30 in the polls, 30%." That was a year ago. I think all the other parties are terrified, but especially the Liberals, because the Conservatives have had pretty much majority territory for a very, very long time. Now, that doesn't mean the election's won yet. We still need to get there. But I think that's why they're all hanging on, why they don't want to go to an election, because they know they're going to lose seats to the Conservatives.
Well, and I think they have maintained this lead because Pierre and his team have made sure that every single MP and every single candidate understands that they have 0 seats won in the next election right now. And they are operating as if they have 0 seats won. And they have to continue to go out and prove to Canadians why they deserve their vote every single day.
Well, and I think even after that point, they're not going to be like, oh, well, I've got my seat for the next 4 years. I'm good. I'm going to ignore my constituents. Like the MPs and even the candidates that we've had the opportunity to interact with personally, they're wonderful people, number one, but you can tell that they're taking their work very seriously. Like they want to do right by the people. They're not just gonna get elected and sit on their high horse and just ignore the constituents. They know that they're there to work for you.
Well, they're on a mission. They're on a mission to restore this country and to bring back the country that we don't recognize anymore, that existed 15 years ago, that was prosperous, that was friendly, and there wasn't this political divide in that there is now. So they are on a mission. You can believe that. Now we're going to skip Trudeau's answer and go near to the end of question period because there's some interesting things that happened.
Leader of the Opposition.
Well, I will comment on one spectacular social housing project of his, and that is the brand new lavish apartment that he bought his friend, the new Consul General to New York. $9 million for his friend Tom Clark to have stunning powder room finished in jewel onyx, crystallo gold quartzite countertops, a handcrafted copper soaking tub, custom bronze bathroom fixtures, $5,000 coffee machine. Did the Prime Minister go and inspect this palace in the sky on his recent trip to New York?
I love that he brought this up, especially since it's been in committee and Tom Clark failed so spectacularly, which we're probably going to get to at some point this week. Don't worry about that. But this was kind of in response to Trudeau accusing, again, for the 50 millionth time, that Pierre was a lousy housing minister, despite the fact that real estate and housing cost half as much and rent was half as much. But, let's not talk about that. So this is an interesting, little jab at Trudeau for when he went down to New York recently.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, engaging with international leaders on fighting climate change, on solving global crises, on standing up unequivocally for Ukraine.
Colleagues, just as I said before, just as I said earlier, I would ask all members to please not take the floor unless they're recognized by the Speaker so that we can hear the questions and we can hear the answers. The Right Honourable Prime Minister from the top, please.
Mr. Speaker, don't worry, on this side of the House, we're used to casual homophobic comments from the other side of the House. Mr. Speaker, what is it about the...
What is Trudeau on about? Do we know what sort of quote-unquote homophobic remarks were made?
Yeah, so apparently one of the Conservatives shot over at Trudeau and asked him, did he take a bath with his buddy Tom Clark in the expensive bathtub or something to that effect. So then Trudeau shot back, oh, well, we're used to homophobic comments. Now, the problem is Trudeau just disparages the entire Conservative caucus. You're not allowed to do that.
Not allowed to disparage the caucus?
Correct. Because he insinuated that the entire Conservative Party was homophobic.
Got it.
You're not allowed to do that.
I mean, my guess is it was more of a dig at the fact that this was like some luxury handcrafted bathtub than anything else.
Colleagues, I heard comments that because it was not on microphone, I chose not to get up. I would ask, nonetheless, that we all treat each other with the presumption of honor and respect. And I'll ask the Prime Minister to please withdraw that comment and to start his comment again under the...
So while this was happening, I was actually driving home from an errand I had to run, and Ryan was at home prepping for the show. So this is how our conversation went. Ryan goes, Fergus told Trudeau to withdraw a comment. He refused. So I said, oh, that's interesting. I'm almost home. We may have time to record something, meaning for the show. Ryan goes, Fergus is not happy with the position he's in. I said, that's what happens when you sell your soul to the devil. Ryan goes, Fergus may have to name Trudeau. And I said, let's see if he has the stones to do it. Well, does he?
Here's the thing. I'm just impressed that Fergus is actually being nonpartisan here. It's one of the first times I've seen him.
He's trying to be nonpartisan.
He's trying desperately to be nonpartisan. Maybe he knows because an election's coming very, very soon, and his constituents are watching him.
Colleagues. I heard a comment, as I said, which I could not stand up because I did not know who said it. But we should be. But colleagues, I don't appreciate when we would tar the entire members with that concern. And I'm going to ask the honourable member, please, to withdraw that comment, start his question again, and let us presume the better natures of all members of Parliament here.
Notice the difference in how Fergus is speaking to his boss, Trudeau, than he did Pierre Poilievre when Pierre was allegedly mouthing off. Like he gives Trudeau such deference. It is ridiculously obvious that he's doing it. Meanwhile, he just says to Pierre, Mr. Poilievre, you will withdraw that comment. And he's like, well, Mr. Prime Minister, would you, if it's okay with you, would you mind, withdrawing the comment?
It's because some of those liberals, and Fergus maybe is one of them, it kind of seems that way anyways, but they like worship Trudeau. Like, if he told them, I don't know, that brown cows make chocolate milk, they would believe him. Like, just, they hang on his every word and they worship the guy. It's insane.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister from the top.
Mr. Speaker, standing up to bullies requires us to call them out on their crap sometimes, and that's what I will do.
Awkward position. Meet Greg Fergus. Let's introduce you to. And looks like your boss doesn't give a crap, as he says, that you're in that awkward position. Now, I love that Trudeau's trying to stand up and be all tough here, but you've been bullying Canadians for the last 9 years. So nobody has any sympathy for you. And although unparliamentary, I think Canadians think that you deserve every insult that you get, as crass as that may be.
I don't know who that is, but you can hear what I'm assuming is one of the Conservatives say, you set the bar, you set the bar.
Right.
Which is true.
Because he kicked out Pierre.
Well, not just that, but I mean, look at how chaotic the House has been since we got back, and it's only been back for a week and a half. Trudeau has lost respect of that House. These guys may still be voting confidence in him, but they have lost his respect. He cannot control the House. And that's a problem for Canadians because that's our democracy, like, on full display, and this is how it's functioning right now.
Yeah, Fergus has totally lost respect for the House, and I don't even think he even had it from the beginning. But the point is that Fergus set the bar when he named Pierre when Pierre wouldn't do what he wanted him to.
Over, what was the word, wacko?
Wacko. Now, we're talking about something much worse than wacko here, and Trudeau isn't listening to you.
I don't know, on like a scale of curse words, is crap worse than wacko?
Well, crap is fine. Like, I don't even care.
Like, to me, they don't even register.
Yeah, but we're talking homophobic versus wacko. That's the bar we're talking about here, because the original issue was homophobic. He wanted him to withdraw the comment because he made a blanket insult to the entire Conservative Party. That's the comment he wanted him to withdraw.
So I think it's the fact that Trudeau called an entire caucus homophobic,
Correct.
Not necessarily that the word homophobic was used.
Probably both.
I'll invite the Prime Minister once again to rise on his feet. And Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I will happily withdraw my comment if the member who suggested that I was sharing a bathtub with Tom Clark stands up, takes responsibility for his...
You know, I seem to remember that when Pierre put conditions on his retraction that he was kicked out.
Yeah, this is the test, Fergus. Right here.
And it sounds like he's about to fail.
As I had indicated to all colleagues here, I was not able to hear or track the source of that statement. And I'm just asking the Prime Minister to be the better person and to please just withdraw the comment and start his question again. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw the comment about defecating. I certainly, using the word crap, I shouldn't use that. I know crap is unparliamentary, but I will also, Mr. Speaker, when someone says something that is clearly homophobic, not them, I'm not accusing them of homophobia, I'm saying they made a homophobic...
Oh my gosh.
Is he related to Amber Heard? Just saying.
Point being, when you are in a leadership position, you are the highest leader in the land as the Prime Minister. You don't start fumbling through an apology and, well, you know, I withdraw this word, but not that one. Just, you know, be a leader, suck it up and say, I apologize, Mr. Speaker, to you in the House. I withdraw my comments. Done. Do you see how easy that is? I just said it right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's talking about defecating and like Jesus. This
is it's beyond cringe. It's beyond embarrassing. I'm not even sure if there's a word for it. Like, this is the leader of our country behaving like a buffoon in question period.
Ironically, right before a confidence vote.
Ironically.
I appreciate the Prime Minister withdrawing his comment, and the Chair accepts him withdrawing that comment. But as the Speaker had indicated, sometimes in this chair, and for those who have occupied this chair or who will occupy this chair will understand, it is a very difficult decision day to day. I heard a comment, I did not know who said it, and the Speaker chose, for the reputation of this House, for us to move on from that comment. I asked the Prime Minister to withdraw the comment. I appreciate you withdrawing the comment. The Prime Minister, please respond to the question that was asked by the...
Now, what was my last text message to you, Tanya?
Oh, your last text message said, after I said, let's see if he has the stones to do it. Oh, effing cop out.
Yeah. What a cop-out. So Fergus accepted him withdrawing crap, but he didn't bother to deal with the withdrawal of homophobic.
He let him get away with it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. So guess what, Fergus? You failed the test. And that's what all of the Conservatives were moaning about at the end. Because you didn't make him do what you tried to in the beginning. So... yeah, You're the Prime Minister's pet. Everybody knows it, and you just proved it. Now, let's move on to the confidence vote. Here's the result of the confidence vote, which surprises nobody. Absolutely nobody. So the Conservatives plus one of the Independent voted yes, and the rest of the House voted no. So this is where we're at now. We all knew this was coming. It's ridiculous considering the SDTC scandal testimony that we heard last week, but that's on another level, folks. But this was expected, so nobody should be surprised. You can be disappointed, but you shouldn't be surprised.
No, I'm not surprised at all. I am disgusted because these MPs, they've been door knocking all summer, and the NDP especially should be ashamed of themselves because they've been hearing all summer, no doubt, that I'm not voting for you because you're just part of the Liberal Party. I'm not voting for you because you've propped up the Liberals and allowed them to destroy this country. So instead of taking that information and saying, wow, I guess Canadians really don't have confidence in this Prime Minister and neither should we, they voted for him anyways. And why? Nobody really knows why, because it doesn't make any sense. The only thing that we can guess is that it's so that Jagmeet Singh can keep his pension.
Well, there's one other reason, and that other reason is that pharmacare still hasn't reached royal assent. It is still in the Senate, and my guess is that plus the pension, once those are done, then Jagmeet will vote no confidence.
But the whole pharmacare excuse is just ridiculous to me because every single province and territory in this country has its own pharmacare plan, and it's much more comprehensive than what the NDP are currently trying to pass through legislation. So what are they selling us out for? For nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yep. No. So that's it with the confidence vote. No doubt there's going to be another one in October. Now, on that note, we have some good news for you. So recently, the Bloc announced a ultimatum. So the ultimatum is that if Trudeau doesn't actually capitulate to what they want, they will be voting to bring down the government as of October 29th next month.
That's all well and good, but the NDP need to vote non-confidence as well, and I don't believe that they will. I really don't trust that they have Canadians' best interests at heart, and I think that's going to be reflected for them in the polls in the next coming months.
Well, and this is going to be the interesting thing. How much is that caucus going to be trusting Jagmeet when Jagmeet isn't even slated to win his own riding anymore, and the polls of the NDP continue to fall?
Well, to be fair, Jagmeet's riding has been split, and neither of the two ridings that it's been split into are going to be an NDP win currently. So it's just bad news all around for the NDP. They might be able to save face and gain some votes if they call non-confidence, but who knows if they're going to do that?
It's going to be up to the MPs. It's not going to be up to Jagmeet. So remember what we said. At some point the blame passes. So the blame originally was on Trudeau. Then the blame has moved to Jagmeet. Now the blame is going to shift to every single MP in the NDP party. That's who's going to be blamed if there's a confidence for Trudeau in the next confidence vote that is no doubt coming next October. Or this coming October, I should say. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens within those party dynamics. Now, we're going to leave you with something educational. We've talked about the different types of votes that happen in the House of Commons, and you don't often see them in action. But we have one today, and you will be happy to know that it actually failed. So let's take a look. So right here, they're calling the vote to see if the second reading is going to occur for the National Framework for a Guaranteed Livable Basic Income Act, or as is popularly known, Universal Basic Income. Now, right now, the NDP are voting, and it is not surprising to see that all the NDP are standing up in voting in favor of this.
Yeah, so the entire opposition side of the House was asked if they are in favor to stand up. And as you can see, only the NDP stood up. The Conservatives did not stand up, and the Bloc did not stand up.
So now they're looking at the far back row of the Liberals. Now notice they're not all standing up. So this is what we typically call a free vote, in that you do not have to actually vote along party lines. You can vote with your own personal preference, or as you should be voting, the preference of your constituents.
This is also sometimes referred to as a one-line whip. And as Ryan said, you vote based on how your constituents want you to vote. The leader's not telling you how to vote. You don't have to vote a certain way if you're in the cabinet. It's essentially a free vote.
So the good news is that every single Conservative voted against this. So anyone worried about the Conservatives supporting UBI, that is put to bed. And all of the Bloc voted against this. And only, I think, 56 members in all of Parliament voted for this, which means that the vote was overwhelmingly against actually moving this private members bill along to actually send it to committee to get it closer to actually passing, which would essentially make Canada start looking into having a national framework for universal basic income. So that is dead in the water. UBI is not advancing under this government.
Well, and it's also important to note that private members' bills typically do not pass through legislation. Like, they don't get through the whole process. They will often get first reading, and then sometimes they're lost through the order of precedence. And then when they do get to second reading, oftentimes they're defeated. It's very, very rare for a private member's bill to become law.
So there you have it, folks. It was a very busy day in Parliament, and I imagine things are just going to get even more spicy from here on out until the next confidence vote. So as we keep saying, buckle up.